Hey, this your boy Diggaveli. Welcome back to the channel. And we have a very interesting video right here, guys. I'm on the East Coast, if didn't nobody know, by the way. Um, I knew everything out west was going to shit or going to hell in a handbasket quick because of the policies like in Washington State, where Seattle and Portland now is. They actually tried to legalize drugs. I've seen multiple videos of how that's doing for these Democrat ran shitholes. Well, I don't think a lot of other people have. In this video right here, we're about to take a deep dive on how bad this shit actually is in Seattle. So let's get into the video, guys.
There's people overdosing like crazy out there. I've been I've been using for 15 years now, and I've never seen it like this. I probably lost at least 10 friends just in the last year.
What's killing people on the
Wow.
streets?
Probably fentanyl.
Seattle, known as the Emerald City for being surrounded by lush forests and mountains, has plunged into darkness as drug overdoses, exposed needles, and human feces overtake the streets and suburbs of this once thriving city. From a defunded police department that has left the city with a 23% uptick in homicides, to the decriminalization of hard drugs that sent overdose rates up 40%, the progressive city has taken a turn for the worst. And the head
And at the beginning of this stuff, what these Democrats were saying, all this garbage. Oh, legalizing drugs, defund the police. Sensible people tried to tell them how bad it was gonna be, man. But one thing about Democrats, the only way they learned is to give them what they want. And this is exactly what they wanted.
headline that piqued my interest in finally covering their drug crisis read that fentanyl deaths are getting so bad that Seattle morgues are running out of room for dead bodies.
Wow.
Back in 2021, the city decriminalized hard drugs, making possession of cocaine, meth, heroin, or fentanyl no longer a felony. Since then, overdose rates have skyrocketed, and local businesses have closed shop due to the amount of crime, break-ins, and vandalism that has come along with the drug use. To give us an inside look at how bad Seattle's drug and homeless crisis has
Like, come on, man. You do not have to be a rocket scientist to know where that shit was gonna lead to. But y'all continue to vote for these people that do not have your best interest at heart, man. Giving drug addicts more drugs. Oh yeah, that's definitely the solution to the problem, if you ask a Democrat.
gotten, I reached out to independent reporter Jonathan Cho, a Seattle local who took us on a tour of some of the homeless encampments throughout downtown.
Chinatown has essentially become the city's human dumping ground. And that's why everyone is here right now. You've got tents behind me, you've got tents next to me, you've got tents on the other side of the bridge. We're gonna walk just one block away and you're gonna see an open air black market of stolen merchandise that these addicts, they walk into Walmart and Target, come out with items, they'll sell it at that corner for pennies on the dollar to buy meth, fentanyl, heroin, anything on the streets to get their fix. So think about this ecosystem and what it does to this community. You have so many Asian American immigrants who are just trying to survive. You have schools here, multiple schools with kids, and they have to live with this. Look at these kids. These are high school kids. Hey, how's school, guys? These are high school kids right now walking from the nearby school. This is like a break, and they have to walk through tents, drug dealers, needles. This is unbelievable.
All right, Jonathan. So we're right next to the main highway here in Seattle,
Yeah.
and we're walking through one of these homeless encampments. I keep seeing these bottles of urine on the ground. Can you tell me why that is?
Yeah, a lot of the addicts tell me they intentionally pee into these bottles because they're trying to save whatever remnants left they have of fentanyl in their system.
Wow.
In other words, what they're trying to do is get another high by drinking their urine. So I want to just quickly describe. You have this guy right here, okay? Just desperately looking for any pieces of foil with fentanyl residue so he can smoke it. I mean, that's what he's doing right now. He's picking through piles of garbage right now to look for foil.
And this is crazy, man. Why does the mainstream media news or the people that tell y'all to hate Trump talking about this shit? I don't get it. Why do they never talk about this type of stuff? Oh wow, maybe that's because the people that's paying them to feed y'all garbage all the time is covering up their ass. Cause they the ones who did this. Like all that diversity and inclusion shit. Affirmative action, straight trash. That shit was the start of the downfall of America. Let these weird ass Democrats and all these like progressive like lunatics get in positions of power and do this to our people in our country. Everybody in like leadership should be ashamed, man. Americans should be ashamed of this type of shit.
So if there's any fentanyl residue, he can smoke it. I mean, it's unbelievable, this addiction.
That's when I go up here and I look to see what they like. That chair is perfectly brand new. Like,
You found Fetty. That's Fetty, right?
I'm not sure if this is Fetty or crack.
And you know what's crazy is that Joe Biden, before he even got in office, he said he was gonna open the border. They knew all this fentanyl and all this other shit was gonna pour in here and kill everybody, kill everybody's kids, loved ones, family members, and all that stuff. But what do they do to fix it? Keep the borders open. Bring more people in, more cartel in, more all this other shit in. They're intentionally doing this stuff, guys. They're like, if you ask me, from all this stuff that I've been seeing, I would say that we have an enemy running our country. Like the people that are in power are actively trying to destroy our country. That's what I get from all this shit. If you don't get that, man, you might want to get out of that alternate universe you're living in, man. Because this is the reality of shit right here.
Honestly,
Well, you found the drugs you were looking for.
I'm not really looking for them. I'm just looking to see if I can find.
Okay.
After speaking with the man digging through piles of trash, Jonathan took us to another homeless encampment outside of T-Mobile Park, where bottles of alcohol, exposed needles, and a huge homeless encampment were about a block away from the stadium. The constant drug use and homeless encampments on the streets have attracted crime, vandalism, and break-ins, and local businesses are struggling to stay open.
Yo, this is so sad. Behind us is right now McPherson Leather Company. I know the owners, and they closed up shop just a few months ago because they told me they can't operate when you're surrounded by a homeless shelter that allows drug use, to pour out into the neighborhood. You've got this open-air black market behind us. You've got drug deals and sex trafficking happening right across the street. How do you run a business like this? This really is an economic war zone. Some of the reasons why this business closed, they said, was break-ins, the graffiti, people defecating on their doorstep, people doing drugs, constantly shooing away users. I mean, how do you run a business like that? Customers don't want to come here anymore.
Exposed needles were also a common occurrence, and when I see them in the streets, I often ask where they're coming from. The answer always lies in the city's harm reduction centers, where addicts are oftentimes given free needles, meth pipes, and various other types of paraphernalia. Jonathan gave us an example of some of the items the city of Seattle is handing out to addicts for free.
They give you Narcan spray, then all these needles, okay? Look at these needles they give you. It's unlimited. Then they give you the straws and the foil to smoke the fentanyl. The blues, this is out of control. What they're giving out, they're giving all of this stuff, more needles. And one of the glass tubes to smoke meth. Look, I'm for harm reduction in the sense where we don't want people getting diseases. We don't want people overdosing necessarily, right? But when you're just giving needles, it's not a needle exchange. You're not taking back the needles. You're not requiring anything. You're not requiring anyone to earn anything. And it's become a free-for-all. This is what harm reduction and housing first has become. Housing first, they say, is, hey, let's stabilize everyone, then let's get them treatment for drugs and mental health.
So they want these people to go into housing before they help them with their addiction? Is that what you mean?
Exactly. That's what housing first is. There's this model that, hey, if you stabilize people, then it'll be easier to get them treatment for drugs and mental health. Problem is, none of it is being required. And that's what's so insidious about housing first. None of the treatment is required, only when they're ready. You ask any drug addict, ask them when they're ready. Okay? They're not going to be ready unless you force treatment.
To highlight how this problem has extended well past downtown, I headed into the suburbs of Seattle to see how other areas of the city were faring.
Now, I decided to come to a different area of Seattle today, and what you're seeing behind me is a formerly vacant Burger King that has since burned down. Now, after it became vacant, I guess the homeless ended up moving in. They were setting fires inside, leading to the entire building burning down. Now, since that time has happened, The city has not demolished this, and of course, this area is still attracting a lot of homeless, as you can see behind me, and has actually led to the closure of 2 businesses. Now, this grease monkey behind me just closed down a week ago, and it was due to them getting their windows smashed in. All of the crime, the drug use that is happening in this area. I actually spoke to an employee as well that works in the business right behind this closed down grease monkey, and he actually said that one of their employees got shot, and that was the final straw for them. I was also reading local news reports that this 7-Eleven as well shut down because of the amount of crime that has been attracted to this area. So this burned down last November. Let me just give you guys a look inside here. And it is still up. There are still people that have been actively walking around this area. There are 2 schools a block away from this. Just giving you guys an idea of what the streets of Seattle look like. We've got a dead rat right here.
Wow, man.
This game, you're
Not a very sanitary scene. I watched residents walk by this area as well. Just an idea of what is happening to some of the neighborhoods in this area.
But that Burger King wasn't even the worst of it. We met up with another local named Andrea, who took us to some of the underpasses in the even nicer areas of Seattle. After watching city parks, running trails, and neighborhoods become overrun with trash and needles, Andrea started her own organization called We Heart Seattle, in an effort to clean up areas just like this one. She began the organization back in 2020, and with volunteer work alone, has picked up over 400 tons of trash and over 20,000 needles.
Out of frustration, we started, which is now over 200 organized litter picks, and in removing trash as a form of community harm reduction. So everyday citizens took it into their own hands to build relationships, remove the trash, and get people into resources, treatment, housing, tickets home, back to family. So yeah, removing.
Yeah, shout out to this woman, man. And it's crazy that citizens have to take this stuff into their own hands to get it done, because the government is actively like destroying it. Sad, man.
The trash from our shared spaces. This was an urban trail called McLean Trail. We did this in the summer of 2021. People would hike through here but could not no more. And we decided to tackle it, and over the course of the summer of 2021, removed, again, about 50,000 pounds of trash, and over 20,000 needles were in here, including Narcan needles. It was an incredible accomplishment, probably the most historical restoration of any green space in the Seattle of history by volunteers, and I did not get one acknowledgement from our government.
She shares that it's been up to citizens like her to clean up city streets, as public officials have stated that they won't clean up the trash because it could be property of the homeless.
You know, and a shout out to,
And one thing about like these Democrats, let's say they had somebody that was wanting a bigger position or something of power. What they would do is they would go and make an initiative like this, barely pick up anything, and then would get funding from the government to do this type of stuff. But you have this woman here who's really taking time out of her life and other volunteers' life to come out here and clean this stuff up and do this stuff, and they don't even get acknowledged. At this point, man, people just being ignorant by ignoring this shit. You have to know that the government and these people, these Democrats and stuff that's in position of power, are actively trying to destroy your life. Actively. Because when they don't have problems, what do they run on?
our government, they say that's possibly somebody else's property. That would be the policy is, well, that's somebody's property, and you can tell that it's been there rotting and decaying for a very long time. So we're going to clean that up on Sunday. I actually, 4 weeks ago, we came and cleaned all this trash in here. This is not to shame or stigmatize homeless, but this is what we have to resort to, is they've created a latrine of some sort here for human waste to now run on this water that goes all the way down into this parking lot and into this beautiful Lake Union, South Lake Union. So, when you talk about where's the environmentalists, you have, this is human waste. This is
How disgusting is that, man? Like I said, shout out to this woman again, man. Shout out to Turning Point. And shout out to Sav, man, for just getting out here, exposing the truth and reality to people. Very concerning, man. Very disgusting. Nasty work. Just nasty, man. Uh, this stuff needs to be exposed more. People have to see this stuff, and they're not seeing this stuff. That's why it's no concern, because people outside of Seattle watching the news, they actually do a good job of hiding the truth and reality behind everything. You know, when they push out they fake shit and brainwash tactics on people, but we have to get to the right type of information, man. So share this video, let people know what's going on, man, because the fentanyl it's becoming a problem all over the country, and it's a matter of time before a lot of these other places turn into Seattle. Great video, very informative video. Not great as far as content, but as far as being informative. And y'all seen it like I seen it, man. What a crazy video. I'm out.